You know, on this thing called the spiritual journey, I don't know whether it's ironic or it's just a fact that it seems the most difficult thing to accept, understand, and come to terms with is the human experience. I mean, it's obvious when you really look at it, because everything about us is the human experience. And yet, it's that very thing that in many ways, if we're not careful, the spiritual journey seeks to somehow almost escape or transcend. Understanding it on a deeper and deeper level certainly helps. It certainly gets us somewhere. Meditating on it, in it, through it, certainly helps and gets us deeper and deeper and starts breaking up some of the more rigid belief systems or rigidities that we have around this human experience. Because in many ways, certainly the spiritual journey that I'm speaking to, the only real interest I have is in a spirituality that brings us into a deeper intimacy with the human experience. When I say human experience, I mean our experience. It brings us into an intimacy with the very experience, the very felt sense, the very reality of presence, really, moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day nature of walking in the world as consciousness through experience, and what happens to awareness as it gets lost or as it moves through the world of form directly. Directly is the optimum word here. Not laboured, not beguiled or laboured or overlaid with belief after belief or thought upon thought or avoidance upon avoidance, but the very direct felt sense of what's happening in what we call our lives at any given moment. This is presence, this is intimacy, this is directness. The direct felt sense. It seems we have to go on quite a journey in many ways to reach that simplicity, because everything about us has become complex, has become dense, has become overlaid, veiled, overshadowed by thought, emotion, avoidance. That's a big one. And then, everything that we build on top of those things is the construct of self and the journey of what we may call awakening. Certainly to this one, to me, is the journey of undoing the veils, of undoing the rigidity, of ending the avoidance and discovering what's left. Because surely what's left is only really the visceral experience of awareness, walking through form, in form, as form. A human journey. So that life actually becomes more equanimous by itself. Not because we do anything. Undoing the veils. Facing oneself. Stopping all this avoiding. Not over-psychologizing. Not meeting life with belief after belief. These are the things that are what we call a kind of true spiritual journey, I think. That's the one I'm interested in. The one that brings us into the intimacy of our experience. And all the practices and all the meditations and all the catharsis and all the therapy and all the, all of the work on the physical body, on the subtle body, on the subtle energy body. Anything to do with the Kundalini movement, anything to do with any of it, in many ways is a step on the path of this profoundly deep intimacy we have with our experience now and now and now. And ironically, it doesn't take us away from the world. It doesn't take us into transcendence of the world. The intimacy itself brings us into a greater and deeper harmony with the world, because what we experience is that the world and I are one. The world and I are one. And everything else is a dream. Everything else is an illusion. Everything else is a belief. And somehow we return through this to our naturalness, a natural way of being. That communion we have is the communion with the world, with nature, with creatures, with the stars, with the universe, with the moon, with the sun, with everything that is. We stop being kind of lost and alienated in this great sense of separation and aloneness. And all that separation kind of dissolves. Oop! I kicked my dog there. Dissolves into the union that we are. So it's funny, isn't it? Because it's through our humanity, through our inquiry, through our courage, through our great willingness to meet ourselves, to meet life, to meet experience, to meet the other, without the overlays. You know, that's where something happens, where this transformation begins to really deepen. And everything on the journey is included. You know, there is no path. The path is the path. You do this for a while. You know, it gets you to a certain place, and some instinct says, calls you to something. That's a beautiful thing. You know, when it's done through intuition or guidance, not when it's done through avoidance, not when it's done through hopping around. I'd made a video about hopping around from teaching to teaching, from spiritual soundbite to spiritual soundbite. It kind of serves a purpose maybe for a while, but then it loses its purpose because we must go deeper than the sound bites. If you want to. Deeper into the intimacy of our own experience. That's it.